How's it going, everybody? It's Word here with another video, and I haven't even done my legends yet today, but defense has been amazing. Yesterday, I went 293 with Fireball Rocket Balloons, and today, I'm going to be giving you guys a deep dive into a guide on how to use this army. This is something that maybe I've been putting off for a little bit. It just takes a little bit more work. One, I also need to get some more information of what I actually want to include into a guide like this, but also, I just like the typical easiness, I think, of a nice, legend video that is nice and easy to get out for you guys and exactly what you're looking for, which is not a lot of planning, not a lot of thinking, and you got to do it just like how you guys would do it hopping into legends. So without further ado, if you're not already, make sure you subscribe to the channel and like the video. We're at like 4.2 thousand subscribers, and once we hit 5,000, I got a 5 gold pass giveaway coming for you guys, so make sure you're subscribed and be ready for that. But without further ado, let's jump into some of the keys to the army and in a style you're gonna find a lot. Okay, so we find this base, and this is going to be similar to ones that you find. You're going to find ones with maybe a big Invis Rage core, but I feel like this is more of the difficult one, because with an Invis Rage, when you get lots of value with your Fireball, it's pretty easy. So we're going to look at a base like this, right? And I can, if you guys join my Discord server, which will be below, I have in there Fireball ranges, but it can help but a Revenge Tower won't get any of these buildings on the side, so just getting the Clan Castle isn't too good. If you hit an Air Sweeper, you're going to get 4 buildings, the Revenge Tower, Clan Castle, Super Wizard, Ricochet. That's a pretty good Fireball. But, I don't know. It could work, but I'm not so sure about the Air Sweeper. I think it does hit the Clan Castle, but that's more of a Fireball you're not certain that would hit. And so what I like to do when I find these bases, first of all, is as soon as I see a base, whether it's this style or any style, I say, okay, where's my flinger going to be? And when I'm just going to hit attack real quick, because when you're in scout, you don't see it. But when you hit attack, you see all 4 expos. So as soon as I click that, I'm looking, okay, somewhere down here, but there's the monolith guarding that, so I can't get a flinger over here. And then somewhere up top, and there's the Clan Castle. So without taking down an expo or using a totem on it, there's not going to be any quick flinger value. So my first thought is flinger. What I see on this base is honestly any of them, but especially this one and this one. I mean, maybe not this one, especially this one. You could take down these 2 buildings, air defense and mortar, which are pretty easy to get down, and then direct target the expo with some balloons. So it would look like this. I guess I messed that up, but I'd use 2 more right here. We get down that. I'd probably wait for the poison effect to go away, but as you can see, you can direct target that expo. So 4 will go in, take that down, no problem. And 1, 2, 3, 4. With that going down, you'd see even the poison effect a little bit right there stops that. But I'd use 4, take that down, and what you'd see is without this expo, that probably will reach right about to like here. That's about probably that expo's range. You can put a flinger kind of anywhere in this whole area. So your flinger that would start maybe around this poison spell will get you the scatter and the Archer Tower, as well as the Ricochet Cannon, Multi Inferno. Like, that's a crazy flinger. So step 1's finding that flinger. And then second of all, I like to try to identify the base. So for a base like this kind of core town hall, obviously there's not good value in the core, which is typical. You like to fireball a core maybe and set up a nice funnel. But we don't have that on this base, so what I like to do is fireball for value. I mean, honestly, anywhere. You fireball near the mono, you fireball over here, you fireball over here. Any of these sections don't really matter. And for me, fireballing a spitter is not that good because you're going to be behind it on this base. Like, anywhere you come in from over here, the spitter won't be hitting you, right? So fireballing it, I'm not really counting as a defense. So what I really like to do on this base is just fireball over here by this monolith, whether it's the Multi Inferno. I think I'd like to hit the Multi Inferno, but anything over there, just whatever is the least amount of invis. You hit that fireball, it sets up a nice path for your warden down this side, and maybe a Sui down this side. But because the flinger's over here, it sets up a Sui into this backside. And what you need to do is the Town Hall obviously can be worrisome on this base. So depending on where my warden walks, if he's up like where I put that rage, I'll just rage him, let him take out the Town Hall and long shot and stuff. But if he happens to be like out by this rage, I might have to recall him and like if the long shot's on him and make sure he's far away and start the Sui into the Town Hall. But you have the Sui, you also have the Minion Prince, which like obviously if I sent it from this angle, if the jelly runs out, it can do a good job saving the Town Hall. But yeah, so that's the main ideas. Okay, so to go a little bit further into our Sui, and I might actually just run this one through for you guys since we've talked a little bit about it. But on this specific base, that's not going to go down. What I like to do, oh shoot, messed that up too. What I like to do is, as I said, we identify the flame flinger. So we're going to find that right here. And where I want to fireball. So, I mean, I think the monolith and gear tower are 2 pretty scary defenses for a warden. Like, if you just look away a little bit, your warden's kind of cooked. So never mind getting those down. Plus, it sets up a nice funnel. So I'm definitely going to be going for that. And Step 3 would be how to set up this fireball. And one thing I'd like to say is right here, if I went for an ice block, I'd have to use quite a bit of invis. And then after I get back, I'd still have to rage the warden right here. So instead of spending that extra invis or two, I'm just going to rage first. Then my warden's going to step up. And I have to use now less invis spells than I would have. Plus, I'm still going to be using the rage, whether it's before or after. So I'm just saving invis. That's all I'm doing. So it's much better, more efficient to use that rage first. And then, yeah, you'll see right here, step 4 would be where do I sui? So on this base, with the flinger getting the scatter shot and multi-archer tower, there's not going to be anything down here. It's just a mortar and wizard tower. So there's not a good value for your sui right there. There's a lot more value elsewhere. So what I would elect to do on this base, which, you know, could be a little bit more risky, but it's what I like to do. Actually, I wouldn't say it's even risky at all, is you just got to pay attention to these heroes that you'll be facing. But what I'm going to do is, I know the flame flinger is going to cook up there. So I'm just waiting for this multi-archer tower to go down. Then I'll recall my warden, because I love the use of the recall in this army. And now the warden's going to come in from up there, and he's going to be in charge of the town hall. So I do have to pay attention to him because, as I said, there's 2 heroes right there, still with the hero bell active. But with the Yetis that I really don't want to pull the warden, first of all, coming in from up top right there, I should be pretty good with, you know, all the damage on the heroes, tanking and stuff like that. So that should be looking really good. Also, the Minion Prince is the next step, which I'm going to be using on this base fully just for his ability right there. That's going to cook up. King ability opens up the core as well, so I think my queen's going to get this town hall regardless of if the warden does or not. But I love to use the Minion Prince like this to really support the heroes, so I don't like to use it too late. I like to use it quite early in the attack where it's going to get some nice value. I'm going to rage up the queen right here as well. And yeah, we got Yetis wrapping around the base. Probably going to totem backside here to distract for the Minion Prince and the queen. And the warden is on the royal champion. He'll get her down. And yeah, I guess the Minion Prince is the only thing I didn't really explain yet. But as I'm saying, you know, the reason I use him over the Royal Champion would be solely because his ability is so strong. So if you're not going to use his ability very well, then I think you're really missing out on his value. And so the best use of his ability is to use it to help, you know, the other heroes. And we're going to swag an invis, probably 2 on this base. But it's to use the other heroes a little bit more effectively. So you see right here on the Revenge Tower and heroes, it really helps the king and queen burst through this section and have no troubles into the back end. So there's a nice triple on this style of base. And let's get into the diamond. So getting into the diamond style base, this is a classic base that you'll be facing in Legend League. And there's a couple of things that I like to do against this base. So first of all, there's not, again, a hefty core. If you could fireball the bomb hive, obviously that'd be ideal, getting the entire core, but that's a really difficult fireball to get. So I would not be aiming for that. On these types of bases, I like to go simpler. Sometimes there's a clan castle here by this gold mine. Then I'd go for the fireball and like the monolith. You get 1, 2, 3, and the clan castle. 3 defenses in the clan castle. And that's not too bad. With the clan castle here, it's a little tougher. Still something I'm interested in doing, but you know, the long shot's scary. I usually like to stay away from it. But on a base like these where you can get a nice quick fireball off, you actually don't run into that many problems because with all the defenses gone, just the long shot's not that scary. With Clan Castle, Minion Prince, now we run into some more things, so I wouldn't be looking at that. On this specific base, I like to stay behind the fire spitters, but as I said, let's hop right into it because I like to look at the flame flinger first. So looking at this base, I could set one up to get the multi-inferno, but that's all I would get. At the bottom, there's the long shot protecting me, so I don't see anything there. So on this base, there's not really anything better than just taking out this mortar and getting these 2 buildings right here. And to be honest, that's fine value. It's not going to set up a beautiful funnel because like this side is still all going to be there. So your troops, you know, it's not like they can just easily go in. There's still the expo, still the scatter shot. It's not a fantastic funnel, but it's still all right. And at the end of the day, I got to look at where that can help me, right? So let's see. If I get the flame flinger to take out these 2 buildings right here, that either can set up a sui in through here or a sui in through here. So in order to do that, I probably will want a fireball right here or a fireball right here. And in my specific case, I don't like the fireball up top. You're going into a revenge tower. You're going to be going into both the spitters. I really don't like that. I am going to come from the bottom. So as I said, the flinger is going to determine where I fireball. So the flingers here means a sui's coming in from beside, and that means a fireball is coming in from a corner. So I think I'd fireball the bottom side, probably right onto the monolith, as I've said, get the quakes into the multi-archer tower and super wizard tower, and then I'd let him take out the long shot. Once he does that, and the flinger's working, I'd probably send my sui into this world champion compartment, king right around the fire spitter to open up all the way into the back end. I'd probably recall the warden over here to 3 o'clock, right about there. Then he could get cooking behind the fire spitter onto the queen and stuff. He'd need a rage there, though, so I'd have to make sure I save a rage for him. And then all that's left is the revenge tower and the multi-gear compartment. And I think I could do a really good job right there with the Rico Cannon all the way here. A lot of ground defenses. The Minion Prince could make its way in this back end and really help me clean that up. So let's hop right into it and see how it goes. Okay, so as I said, we're going to be going for that quick fireball. So when I go for a quick fireball, I usually like to set up the flinger first because I know, some people are always like, oh, word, you could be saving some more time. But when it's this quick of a fireball, I can't take my eyes off the warden. So I got to make sure that I, get everything down before the warden that I want before I start. And for me, that's the flame flinger on this one. So warden's doing really well. I got a furnace now down here to help out. Once again, these skeletons, perfect use of it. The long shot, as I said, isn't that scary of a defense on its own, or whatever. Yeah, I guess defense. It's not really defense, but it's not that scary of a defender. But the king and minion prince and CC right here all can do that. So got to be careful. The hog, I'm really hoping can tank and pull out the ice golems. Since Rocketloons come out. I was saying since I'm already pulling the rest of the. I'm already poisoning. I like to poison everything at once. So I'm using one rage here, which means the other one's probably going to have to come down as well onto my warden, as I said on this right side. I might be able to tank that multi-arch tower later into the attack, though, with some Rocketloons, so maybe I don't need it. But at this point, we're going pretty slowly, and I wanted to get down this town hall, but I also want to make use of the Yetis. I don't think I quite can, though. And I think based on how this is really working and the Flame Flinger is still going, I'm probably going to get in a totem right here, actually, which I wasn't planning to do initially. Tank the Royal Champion. We'll get her down, and I'm hopefully going to get down that Expo. Town Hall fell because it's weak from the Fireball, which is always a nice touch, and we're going to bring our Warden over there. With a minute 30, we kind of got to start, and as I said, getting that Ricochet Cannon, or that Expo down, wasn't part of the plan, and that kind of really helps right here, because now there's not as much left on the base that I'm kind of cooking through this back end. So I like to test also here, as I've mentioned, for the healer puppet that I've been running, because if the healers don't just die right away, they're very, very good. So I would love a rage right here, so I think I'm going to try to get it in. Might be a little troublesome, but as long as I can do that right there, there's a king ability that's really nice. The queens are cooking, and yeah, the rocket balloons are doing a good job tanking right there. I got to keep that queen alive as she moves her way through the core. And as I said, what is that? Minion Prince is cooking on the backside where there's a lot of ground defenses. We'll see how far he can really get taking out that. And honestly, this is one of your hardest, I'd say, base types where there's not a crazy fireball. But still, we got the Yetis rolling around. We got everything rolling around. And this one's looking quite good because the Warden's cooking on the backside. We haven't even used the Minion Prince ability yet, which will go off perfectly onto this Expo. And then we still have Yetis and stuff all alive. So I think we're looking quite good. I'll pop the ability right there. Going to take down that, as I said. Headhunter just to tank for the Wizard Tower as I start to take it out with minions. And just the multi in the core left right here. We should be good on time. It's a little close, but maybe I could have sent my Minion Prince earlier and really kept my Queen alive because that could have helped with time, not having her die. But regardless, this one is a triple, so that's always nice. And that's how I like to take down these diamond-style bases, which can be really tough for Fireball. So usually they were my nemesis of failing, and there's a triple. Let's get on to the box base, which I'd classify the last base type. Okay, so we're into the box base, and as I said, I'm not even going to cover the Invis Rage. I think it's very easy. If you want, I mean, I could do that in another video for you guys, but you could probably find plenty of examples of me hitting them. You find them 2 or 3 times a day. Yeah, they're very common. But regardless, this is a box-style base, so a little bit different than the diamond, where usually on these bases, you're going to get a nice fireball in the core. Somewhere here that can get a clan castle, the bomb hive, some buildings, really sets up a nice funnel for... once again, let me get into here. Sets up a nice funnel. If I can fireball right onto that, Sui could go one way, Warden could go the other way. Don't know which one going what way, but you see what I'm seeing right here. Really nice pathing for your troops to split up and go around the base. So looking at the specific base, once again, let me go back into it though, first of all, to check those expos for you guys. So, step 1 is checking for that Flame Flinger. And we got keys along the way. Keys, I'd say, are using as least spells as possible. Always use Rocket Balloons to tank as you can. Make sure you funnel your Sui with Rocket Balloons, Baby Dragons, whatever, and clean up as you go through the attack. But, as I said, we're checking for a Flame Flinger right here. And this base is a lot tougher. The expos are deeper into the base. There's not very much value. Like, once again, you see the expos. I see somewhere up here by the multi has a little bit of a break in the expos, but that's only a multi. Over here is a scatter shot and maybe a fire spitter, but there's the Royal Champion, so a little tough. And then down here, there's a monolith defending the gear tower, so not any value there. So not great value. on this base. But one thing I do see is if you do go for something over here onto the multi-archer tower on either one, because that's pretty easy flank flinger value. After that, it goes straight for the expo. Something like down here, if you go into the multi-archer tower, because if there is one tile between it, you have to be perfectly on this angle by this mortar. So I couldn't start a flinger from the corner. Then there's all these buildings over here, and it gets jumbly. But on this corner, it's really easy to go multi-archer tower, then expo. But then you'd be thinking, word, the expo, that's going to take you out. You've got that totem spell, right? As long as we can take down the archer tower, I know the range of the expo, oh, I meant to click on the expo right there, is out by this gold storage right where I placed that spell. And the cannon couldn't reach it, the air defense couldn't reach it. That'd be perfect for tanking the expo, and my flinger could get set up. As far as the fireball goes, you got a couple options on this base. The bomb hive is really nice, getting down all of those buildings that I'm quaking right there. Or you just get the expo and get that kind of quake right there on the multi-arch tower expo. The only thing I'd say is if I'm planning to charge this expo, or multi-arch tower, and then the expo, then I'm not getting any value fireballing it. So fireballing the bomb hive gets me the mono and gets me the other multi that I wouldn't get. Because if I'm not charging this and going for a quick fireball or from a different angle, then it's good value. But since I'm going to be walking it anyway, I wouldn't classify it as fireball value since it's kind of wasted by the warden charge. And you want your warden charge and fireball to get different things to really optimize. So that's what I'd get. My warden would kind of be moving towards the scatter shot. And at that point, I'd probably let him keep walking because I don't mind where he is right there. Maybe I could recall and put him all the way at 9 o'clock behind the fire spitter, way away from the long shot. But I don't mind where he is right there. The Sui would be coming in. The gear tower is one shot from that fireball, by the way, because it hits it. So I'd send a couple Rocketloons to take it out. I'd send my Sui right in from 3 o'clock into that ricochet cannon. That'd be really nice value getting into there. We get into this fire spitter, and up top here is being funneled by the flame flinger. Honestly, we could be looking at a swag minion prince base. It might not be, but this one's looking crushed. I don't see a great spot where I'd need it. If anything, I could come in straight on this multi-inferno, send it through to the revenge tower and long shot ability, because that's really good. Or I could just go in from 9 o'clock here if I keep my warden working through the scatter and get it to finish off that. But regardless, this base would be crushed, and let's get into it and show you what that looks like. So we'll get into this one, and as I said, I'd like that fireball onto the monolith, so I'm going to go into right here, or sorry, the bomb hive. And once again, we like to check for any traps going in directly from 12, and I got to pay attention here because the warden, a multi-arch tower and expo without like balloons to tank is dangerous. And also that expo is dangerous to the flame flinger. So I got to be careful that I don't take my eyes off of either of these things because, yeah, the warden could be in trouble and the flinger could be in trouble if I take my eyes off of these, even for a split second. So I'm even going to rocket balloon here because I don't know if that's chaining to a healer or the sneezy, but either I don't want to go down. So we can start cleaning up. As I said, clean up throughout. Huge, huge, huge on any base, especially behind the flame flinger. And we almost lose my fireball right there, but we don't. I was a little slow talking about the cleanup, but that's something, as I said, you got to pay attention to both sides. Can be difficult, but, knowing that I needed to, I should have been a little bit quicker. The multi-archer tower just goes down, so now I can get my totem in. And we're getting ready to do fireball, probably right after this builder hut goes down. I'm just going to hit him with a 1, 2, 3. Really nice right there. There's the fireball. Just going to quake that right there. As I said, this will be one shot, so I'll just take it down. Nice. The flinger's also cooking. I don't know if the totem, now only having 1, I liked having 2 for that little bit more tank to let the flinger cook. But at the same time, if it just stops right here, I'm not that worried. It is what it is. I would poison right here because that's a little bit of a worse hero than the World Champion down the line. And as I mentioned, you got to funnel for your Sui. It's incredibly important. So on this particular base, that's going to involve taking down those couple buildings on the left, or on the right, I guess, on the flank there. And that pushes my king right in, no problem. So that's looking really nice. King ability might be forced right here. Ice Golem's actually going to go off first, but it's about to go off, so it's not ideal. I would have rathered it getting a little deeper. King ability now goes off, though. Nothing too bad. Honestly, going to try to funnel all this out. Could have done that even earlier if I wanted. And I think on this one, with the time, 1 minute is when I like to send the Minion Prince. The Warden's a lot slower, or the Minion Prince is a lot slower than the World Champion was, so you can't do things at the same time, particularly placing her. World Champion, about 45 seconds, people always said was about the ideal time. You got to be earlier with your Minion Prince, so I already got him in here around a minute, almost always is what I'm aiming for. And as I said, almost a swag Minion Prince. This base is absolutely cooked. I'll rage up the Queens just to make sure we can get that down, but we're swagging the recall, swagging some rocket balloons, and yeah, this box base, if you get fireball value, I'm convinced that this army is just as powerful as it's always been. That last base, that diamond style, is a lot less fireball value. Those attacks are going to be very, very difficult, but still manageable. And as you can see, we can crush all base types with this army. And I'm not sure how long the video is, so I'm actually going to go into an invis rage just to show you. But yeah, let's get into that. Okay, so the reason I decided I'm showing you this one is because this is the Itsu base, and it's going to be everywhere. I think it's probably valuable then for you guys to see how to do it. Should be pretty self-explanatory, but you want to fireball the core, get down 2 spell towers, which actually I don't always consider as defenses, but they're incredibly important. But as I said, we got to start right here with the flinger. There's a couple good flingers. Once again, just getting the multi-arch tower Rico. Getting 2 wizard towers and a bomb hive is what I think I'm going to go for because the bomb hive doesn't actually hit that angle. So that's, I think, more what I would like to go for. However, I'm actually going to charge from this spot, so I'm not going to get the flinger right here. The reason I'm doing that is because, and a couple other things, I like to charge with my Warden, the Royal Champion side, because she's weaker. So then to flip that around, with the Queen being stronger, I'm going to flinger that side because the flinger actually can burn the heroes. It doesn't always do it perfectly, but it usually does it pretty good. And if I can damage a better hero than a worse one, which will be over here, I might as well. And as I said, the only reason I'm charging the bottom instead of flingering it is because I want to hit the, what do you call that? In the core there, that revenge tower, because that'll get me the whole compartment. This multi-inferno, I don't know if it gets me the one on the right, but it definitely misses the other multi on the left, and I want to get both, so that's what I'm going to go for. And while I'm coming in from the bottom, because I think that's the best spot to set up that angle of a fireball, I got to take that down, take this down, so now we're setting up very nicely. Once the sweeper goes down, I actually might take down this air defense as well, just to be certain, because yeah, you can't be having any kind of maybes, but we can go 1, 2, 3. Very simple right there. There's the fireball into the core. And because the minion prince is on me, I'm just going to recall. Didn't want to do anything too sketchy right there. We're going to bring ourselves back right at this corner. And yeah, we can wall break. Actually, that wall break's not going to work, I guess. It's already open. We're going to get in right there with the Sui. Second Ice Golem, you don't want it right away and help them share damage. So the first one dies, then the second one comes in, and they don't share any damage. It's perfect. The long shot is usually what I'm going to be using this totem on, just the long shot itself like that. And King ability, Queen ability is ready to go off. Probably going to pop the King right here just to help me get into these heroes. Queen ability is coming down shortly, though. I got a Rage right here because I can't use Rocketloons to tank a Rico. But, yeah, Queen ability is right there. And I think a Minion Prince is going to be beautiful from this flank. Queen's cooking. Royal Champion, or Warden's still doing absolutely fine. And, yeah, Minion Prince not even going to need ability yet is huge. He's going to continue waltzing his way around this base. Queen did go to ability, but as I said, Minion Prince has not even popped his yet, and that'll be extremely powerful into this back end. Warden's still going. I still have this Rage spell. And, yeah, I mean, honestly, I'm sure you could swag your heroes in this base, but I never really find it needed. You just, because time can be an issue on any base, I just like to put everything down and get the triples. I'm not as big of a swagger, but as you see, these bases are absolutely free. Swagging an Invis right there. And, yeah, Invis Rage shouldn't be a trouble. Make sure you hit that fireball in the core, and a little flinger value is all you're going to need, and that base is gone. So, hope you enjoyed the tips today, starting off with the flinger, going into identifying the base type. Are you fireballing the core or not? How to set up your fireball with as little spells as possible, where to Sui, and then where's that Minion Prince going? Is he supporting the Warden, or is he supporting the heroes? Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you all in the next one. Peace.